Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the July 21st Historic Preservation Commission meeting. My name is David Schur. I'm the Vice Chair of the Commission, sitting in for the first application this evening because Julie has announced that she has a conflict with the applicant, so I'm taking over. But before we get started, we need to do the opening statement and a couple other little things. So let me just pull this back out. You'd think we'd have it memorized by now. Pursuant to Section 13 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of the time and place of this meeting was given by posting prominently on the official bulletin board in the municipal complex here at 400 Witherspoon Street a schedule of the regular meetings of the Princeton Historic Preservation Commission for the year 2025, which posting is to be maintained throughout the year, and by transmitting a copy of such schedule to the Princeton Packet, Town Topics, and the Trenton Times and Comcast Cable of New Jersey by filing a copy thereof with the Clerk of Princeton, New Jersey. So next, I guess we'd like to have roll call.
Yes. Ms. Satterfield? Here. Mr. Shapskin? Absent. Ms. Howard? Absent. Mr. Shore?
Present.
Mr. Endersby?
Here.
Ms. Friedman? Here. Ms. Capozzoli? Later to come. And we have two new alternate members.
Yes, we do.
Correct.
We have with us this evening Maria Kashivrakali. And I did it better before, but I wrote it down this time and I made a mess of it. We're pleased to have you with us. For those who would like to know more, we have her background and why she applied to the commission and why she thought she'd be a great member, and we reviewed that and made the recommendation back to the council and the mayor that we would like to have Maria work with us. The other member is new member is someone that many people may already know, Emily Kroll, who many years ago was the executive director at the Princeton Historical Society of Princeton, sorry, I should know better. She had more recently been with the New York Historical Society, has retired from that job and has time to be serving with us, and we're very glad to have her. She is, among other things, an expert on Ralph Bowen architecture. She did quite a show on his work a number of years ago for the Historical Society of Princeton. So that knowledge, along with all kinds of other stuff and her training, will also be a great asset to the commission. Announcements?
Yes, and so I'll just note that Maria is here in attendance, and thank you for coming. Mr. Chairman, I would like to note that 3 applications will be carried to the August 18th meeting, and those are the 3 Crown Castle applications.
And what about, did you also say Lee Avenue is going to be carried forward?
No, it will be heard tonight, although the applicant is not here and they're aware.
Oh, okay.
So they would like for us to proceed with reviewing that
Very
application.
good, we can do that. Mm-hmm. Should we do the approval of minutes?
Yes.
So there's a pack of minutes that are from regular Historic Preservation Commission meetings and 2 special meetings that we held within the past year, it looks like just barely, and that everyone had them in their packet. Elizabeth had suggested that we try to get our corrections, especially things that are like grammatical-based corrections, into Ian on time. Before the meeting, did you receive any comments or?
Yes, I did from Frida Howard.
Very good. So, I guess the first set of minutes is from July 23rd, 2024. That was a special meeting. If anybody would like to recommend any changes or things that we think need to be adjusted in the minutes, please say so. Let me just double check who was here to make sure. And that was this set of minutes. Absent that day were Julie Capozzoli and Charlotte Friedman, but anyone else who was here if there's any corrections or anything that they see to make to those minutes. Then if there are no corrections to be made, does someone want to make a motion to approve these minutes? And I guess it can't be Julie or Charlotte, so it would have to be Shirley or Elric.
David, which minutes are you on?
We're working on that first set that's Tuesday, July 23rd. From last year, it was a special meeting.
Hi, yes, on page 2, doesn't say page 2, but it is page 2. At the bottom paragraph, it really does need to be rewritten. I could read some of it in there. I did write it all out, but of course that copy's at the office, so. But it was commentary on the slide presentation that I made on Alexander Street, and easy to make to combine things into misinformation, and I'd like to be able to correct that. Rather than try to do that right now, I'll provide that for Elizabeth. Yes?
To Ian. But if you send it to me, I'll forward it to him.
And there are a couple of others on, again, the pages are not marked, but it's the 4th page, I believe. And the bottom 2 paragraphs begin with Mr. Endersby, and I do have some corrections on those 2 as well. Sorry, I thought the August ones came first.
So those updates will be given to here or to Ian? I'm sorry, I didn't follow all that.
He's going to send something to Ian.
Okay.
Or to me, and then we'll forward it to
Okay,
Ian
and then-
for his change.
Back on that second page, the 3rd line up from the bottom, I have circled something called discs that I don't recall what that was, but maybe that's something Elric is
No idea what he's saying.
already working on. Discs found on 25 Alexander Street were distinctive for the doorway, and I just can't think of what that word is referring to.
Was it on page 2, you said?
Page 2, all the way down, last paragraph, 3rd line up from the bottom,
Oh.
starts discs.
Yes, they're door frames or doors, I've forgotten which, or maybe both, that are in the Menard Lefebvre Builder's Handbook, and they appear in all sorts of places, including Drumthwacket and in several of his pattern books, and they're emblematic of that period, and it shows the familiarity of the builder with those designs.
Okay.
They're like rosettes.
Rosettes, that would I get, yes, okay. All right, good, thank you. And then, were there some more changes yet, or does anyone else have observations?
Are there more changes? Yes. In terms of the fact that, for instance, there's a column, the capitals on the number 29 are taken directly from Asher Benjamin's handbooks, he being a Massachusetts provider of maybe at least a half dozen different builders' handbooks in the first third of the 19th century. And it's just helpful because, for instance, I was reading something today about Drumthwacket and the fact that no one's quite sure who was responsible for the design. Some of it came directly from New Orleans, where Olden and Tulane Princetonians had lived and came back with notions for their houses here. But in any event, that kind of information helps to point to Stedman as a potential builder.
That's actually pretty fascinating to me, because it does have a southern feel to it, that building.
I'm sorry, this room gets to me. I can
Oh,
see
sorry.
your lips moving, but I don't get what you're saying.
It has a southern feel.
Yep.
He said it has a southern feel.
Yes, definitely. You'll notice that the way the dormers, there are very few dormers in Princeton around, and yet at Drumthwacket, they're right up above the porch. And I've got examples that I've paired with those from New Orleans houses.
Cool.
Sorry.
So, Elizabeth, we are going to get these changes to Ian but we can approve the minutes, or we want to have a...
Yes, I
other-
think that you want to approve it with the modifications.
Okay. Can we have a motion to approve with modifications the minutes from the special meeting on Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024? And that's really just Elric and Shirley that can make that motion.
Oh, should I make that motion? I'll make that motion, thank you.
Second? Oh, we got a problem with hearing then. So Shirley, we're looking for you to second a motion to approve the meeting. Okay. And I guess all in favor, aye? Aye. Nay? Opposed? Motion carries. Minutes are approved with corrections as discussed. The next set of minutes would be from August 12th, 2024, also a special meeting.
No corrections.
Okay.
I have no corrections for either of the August minutes.
Okay, I was absent, Charlotte was absent, and Shirley was absent. Can we get these approved by, no?
No.
All right, so we'll note that there were no corrections to be made, but that we can't approve them this evening.
Okay.
Next set of minutes, August 19th, 2024. Who was absent? Frida, who's not here, was absent, and Charlotte was absent. But, Oh. So that's a correction to make. Oh, yeah, you're on both sides, you're on both lists. Do you recall?
Absently present, presently absent.
Okay. So the first correction is that Charlotte was actually here that evening. Does anybody have anything else from those minutes? I do remember noticing that when I was reading the minutes, and I thought we'd have to talk about it, but I forgot. If there are no other corrections, can we have a motion to approve the minutes with that correction about Charlotte being here?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Elric. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Looks like the motion carries to approve those minutes. Okay, the next set of minutes. December 16th, 2024. That was a Monday. Shirley, you were not here.
No.
Charlotte was not here. But I think we can still get this approved. Does anybody have any corrections to these minutes?
No corrections on my part.
Then how about, Elric, a motion to approve?
I will so move.
Okay, and then the second could be me.
Okay.
So moved. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, one more set, very recent set, from Monday, May 19th. I was absent that day.
I have a correction.
I'm sorry?
On page 5,
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, the fourth paragraph, it says that the Taylor historic, it should be the Taylor family history.
I see Taylor.
It says Witherspoon Jackson Historical should be and Cultural Society on the sign identifying the Taylor family history, not Taylor historic.
Got it. Taylor family history.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
There's a typo, I'm sorry. I think it's a typo unless we have another person on the commission I haven't read, that I'm not aware of, whose first name is Chari Capozzoli. I think the...
Chair.
Yes, I think it's fine, the word chair
What page is that?
misspelled. It's on page 4.
Last paragraph, okay, last paragraph.
Yep. That's
Oh,
it.
yeah. What do you call that, a yeah, transposed letters.
Chari, 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 chari.
Was there anything else anybody noted? All right, with those corrections, somebody want to make a motion to approve them? Thank you, Charlotte. Second?
Second?
Second. Thank you, Shirley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Wow. That's a great amount of work done. Thank you. All right, so we're ready for our first application. And this is we're familiar with this project. We saw it as a concept review a couple of years ago. I think a lot of work has been done on it since then. It's the application for 600 Mercer Road, a combination of taking the toll house, the significant part, picking it up, moving it, allowing or requesting permission to demolish some of the exterior or additional pieces that were added onto the property, close up the ground, make it look like nothing really happened there, move the toll house up onto a higher level, and then a new house to be constructed behind it. And at this point, we will have the applicant discuss the project, and I guess, Tara, do you need to swear them in? Or?
Before we do that, just preliminarily, I review all the notices, everything is in order. There we go. Just as a preliminary matter, I reviewed all the notices that they're required for this application, including the demolition. Everything was in order as to the notices posted on the property, sent to the adjacent property owners, and to the newspapers.
I guess I'll introduce myself, Christopher Koss from the law firm of Stevens & Lee, and we have two witnesses, Maximilian Hayden, architect, and Annarella Valdivia, owner.
I will just swear you both in at the same time so that we don't have to stop your testimony. If you would just raise your right hands. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give this evening is the whole truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I thought we'd start with some quick background on the property. I'll move through this quickly. Some of it is what we covered in 2022 when we first came here, but I think it's obviously a couple of years have gone by, so it's worth repeating. This is a property at 600 Mercer Road. The site looks, now my computer decides to freeze. There we go. The house looks like this. It looks a little more lush right now because it's spring. I think this was in the bleakest of winter times, but this gives a good view of the house. Annarella purchased this house in the spring or summer of 2021, and it had recently been subdivided from the Princeton Meeting property, and they created kind of a unique little 1 acre lot. It's its own lot in the education zone, just really to make it a saleable property. And Annarella had the questionable fortune of purchasing the property, and then soon after she purchased the property, she got hit by Hurricane Henry in mid-August, and then more significantly got hit by Hurricane Ida on August 29th. And at that point, the whole basement flooded, and over 2 feet of water flooded the first floor of the property and made it unlivable, made it structurally unsound as well. So that's what has brought us here today. And the property, as you can see, is close to the road. By way of context, I reviewed the Google map of the property, and I we probably all know this property well, but have driven by it many times. It's in kind of a unique area. It's next to the Princeton Friends School, which has some older buildings and some new school buildings, and the Princeton Meeting House, which is further back, which is a very old building. Beyond that, though, there's not really any visible houses. If you go up and down the street, the houses tend to be set back in the vegetation near this property, which is generally what we are proposing to do with the property. Just a few, this is actually from a prior application before this board, but it's such a good picture. It looks like snow, but it's water flooding over Princeton Pike there. And then this is from outside the window of the house. So significant flooding happened during Ida, making it uninhabitable. And as you can see, the flood line above the electrical box, approximately 2 feet up. This is the property from different angles. The front of the property, which you can see, and I show a better picture later, but you can kind of see on the bottom left photo between the two stop signs, that's the toll house. That's not where the toll house was originally located, because it's been moved when they merged the Quaker Road and Princeton Pike intersection. But that is the 1860 toll house. The rest of the house was built up over time, and the photos show that eclectic style. So when we last came before you, we came with some findings from Richard Grubb and Associates as to the historical value of the house, and he described the house that the toll house portion was constructed in 1860. By that point, it was really the end period of the turnpike's existence, so it was close to obsolete at the time of its construction. And then he goes through the period of significance of the property and concludes that it does have some significance, and that the portion of it that is significant from a location, design, setting, workmanship, feeling aspect is the 1860 toll house. I thought this diagram of his was very instructive, in that he broke it into the phases and when they were developed. And we've circled phase 1 on this diagram because it shows that's the portion that has the most historical significance. That's the only portion that was built and used at some point as a toll house. And that portion is the section that we have circled here. So following, just to add to this, there was also a structural engineering report which talks about the building having multiple deficiencies, and the foundation walls in poor condition due to lack of mortar and water infiltration. It says structural repairs are considerable, but there are other issues with the building envelope that affect these conditions and would need to be addressed. We believe the scope of the work involved is not economically feasible and would necessitate the removal of a significant amount of the historic fabric. So with those two professional report conclusions, we came up with the plan, and I use we generously because I would say Max came up with the plan of moving the house, the toll house portion, from its current location, which, as you'll see in subsequent plans, is well within the flood hazard area, out of the flood hazard area, and connecting it to the proposed new dwelling. And just to correct a confusion, Elizabeth pointed out correctly in her report that our submission for the August meeting in 2022 did not show the toll house being connected to the proposed new structure. It showed it as a structure that we were going to leave in place. By the time we came to that meeting, we actually said our engineering drawing's behind, but we're at a concept meeting, so we left that as is, but we want to show you this plan of connecting, moving in, connecting the toll house to the new house and putting it on higher ground so that it would be an actual vibrant part of the new home and be used as such. So that's kind of the background, and that's our proposal in a very broad brush. And I'm going to, since I've come to the hard part, I'm going to pass it over to our architect.
Good afternoon. So, yeah, when we came to the August meeting, we did have a plan showing the toll house connected.
Sorry, can you just state your name and spell
I'm
it
sorry,
for the record?
my name is Max Hayden, architect, and my address. Or no,
No, if you could just quickly go over your qualifications, unless
I'm a
have you appeared
registered-
before the board before, and then the board has any questions?
I've
or-
appeared before the board before.
Does anyone need to hear his qualifications, or is the commission willing to accept him as an expert in the field? Okay.
Let's do a quick, your license.
I am licensed in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Massachusetts. I graduated from Carnegie Mellon in 1982. I have been a resident. I have been in the Princeton area since 1982. I have appeared before the historic commissions of Hopewell Township, Princeton, Montgomery, Harding, a couple of others that I can't remember at the moment, and I've appeared before numerous zoning boards throughout New Jersey. I'm 65 years old, and I'm an old geezer, but I've done a lot of work in the area.
We would ask that he be accepted as well.
We accept Max Hayden's credentials. Thank you.
Sorry, he just is here so much.
Well, I'm not here all the time, so I was wondering, I was like, he must be someone that they just know and is here all the time, but for the record.
I'm shocked you don't know me, but now you do, you know. I won't take it personally. So Annarella approached me to help her with the house. She had submitted a concept drawing much earlier, a couple of years earlier, and I was recommended somehow, and we connected. And so we thought we would save the toll house. It's a very small portion of the original building that we're relocating. It is the 1860 part. It is a vernacular 1-over-1 room. It's been in that location. Did it actually, it moved? It did move. Well, and of all municipalities in New Jersey, Princeton has a very rich history of moving buildings. I, in fact, moved my former house in Hopewell Township to get it off of a busy corner, so I can well understand how living in this location compromises your living and also compromises the building. Certainly the flooding that's occurred is the main impetus for moving the toll house and constructing a new house. There are some questions in Elizabeth's report. I think that the height of the house is really dictated by the flood elevation, and we are not allowed to have a basement, but we do need to have a crawl space. So that's why the house is as tall as it is. If there's any way that we can reduce the height, we're willing to look into that further.
If we, just showing this plan, can you just explain, and I know you're not the engineer, but the flood elevation, the reason for the location of the house in this particular place?
There's the riparian buffer at 300 feet. You can see it to the left. The flood zone is actually further to the left, but that wasn't accurate because you can see the outline of the house, and the house flooded 2 feet. And given the environmental conditions and climate change, the flooding probably is not going away, unfortunately. So we are moving it uphill, and we'll be at 77 for the garage floor, I believe. And then the house itself will be 4 feet, 12, it's 78 for the garage, 77 at the low end, I'm sorry. And then we'll be at 82 for the main floor. The toll house is really a very diminutive structure. The ceilings are not 8 feet, which is kind of a standard for interior of houses. So the house that we're proposing to build is really very normal for today, so that the Toll House does look small compared to it. But we've tried to embrace the vernacular architectural style of the area and do something sympathetic and kind of background, and the Toll House will be prominent of the main structure, and I think passersby will get that it's a little bit different. Elizabeth made several recommendations, which I think Annarella will probably agree to, and we're willing to work further with the commission on that, but we'd very much like to walk away with an approval this evening, given how long of a process. We did take a break from it, but Annarella would like to live in this house someday. So,
Mr. Hayden, are you saying that the applicant has agreed to the recommendations in the report? Or, yes? I wasn't really clear.
we should probably go through them.
Yeah, it's number 15. So first was a question to advise in the condition of windows proposed to be replaced on the Toll House.
Could you read? Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. The condition of the windows on the Toll House, do you know what those, the condition was of the current time?
They're not in great shape. We'll have to look at them further to see if they can be salvaged. They are probably original to the structure, although some of them may have been replaced.
And there are no original shutters remaining in the property, correct?
There aren't any hanging on the building, and I don't think there's any stored anywhere.
Okay.
And we would,
Just so the HPC knows, he's on comment 15, which is the applicant asked to address the following. So he just addressed A, which is the condition of the existing windows, and he just talked about B, which is were there any existing shutters. So he's saying nothing was found on the building or on the property.
And looking at C, are you proposing PVC or wood shutters?
I think we'd like to propose the Endurion, which is the PVC. Looking at it, it really looks like a new wood shutter. The shutter is built as if wood construction, but I guess we're open to.
I was just wondering because when I looked up the product, they could either come in PVC or wood. Wasn't sure.
I think we would say Endurion because shutters by Timber Lane are approximately $1,500 a pair. You don't want to be replacing them very often. And we could look into using shutters, but there are no existing historic shutters for the house.
You're using louvers on both floors rather than solid shutters on the first floor.
We don't have any photographic documentation of what was
It's okay.
here.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
19th century
so,
house.
I mean, 1860, it's kind of a transitional stage from panel on the first floor to louver, so
Just really-
we'll take direction from you guys.
As to 15D and E, I think we showed those. That was photographs of the existing structure, the neighborhood, the streetscape, and then summarizing the reports from the historic report and the engineer's report. And I have those full documents as well, if anybody wants to look at them in more detail. Max, if you could address the product packet
For
question, which
those
is F.
two reports, should we, Elizabeth, would it be best to maybe just enter them into the record as exhibits?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's do the, we have your PowerPoint presentation, so let's do that full presentation as Exhibit A, and then the structural assessment as Exhibit B, and the
Historic report.
historical report as Exhibit C.
Okay.
I agree with that entirely. I'm just looking for it.
Max, you want to address item F? Do you want to address item F? Just 15F, which has to do with the gutters. Will they be half-round, white, aluminum, and then discharge points for the downspouts? And as mentioned that, you know, if the application is approved, for them to be added to the drawings.
Yes, we are representing them as we are representing the gutters at half-round gutters, and I will gladly add that to the drawing and identify it as such. And I'll show locations of the downspouts and discharge points.
Okay.
And I thought within the materials, we showed the trellis, or no? For the porch, is that shown or no?
I didn't see any gutters or downspouts on any of the drawings. But I mean, if you add them and knowing that's half-round,
Yeah, we're
add that
happy
to the
to
drawing,
add any
that's
of that
good.
material.
Okay. And then G, which talks about the product package, talked about the paving for walkway and driveway would be stone. And just asking that front walkway for the new house, is that crushed stone or is it a paved surface?
That's a very good question, Elizabeth. I think it's going to be budget dependent. I think we could say for now it's crushed stone. Ideally, I think Anarella would love to do, you know, a brick walk or a bluestone walk. But could
Okay,
we-
I think maybe the HPC, if they are going to approve this, that they should, it would be easier, instead of you coming back, that they would approve
We're happy
the
to.
stone, and if available to the applicant, for it to be bluestone or brick, but the HPC should determine if those were appropriate material that they would approve.
Can I ask a question? Is it a good time?
Yes.
So once the house, so you're only moving the tall house, right? Everything else goes away, gets demolished, and then basically there's the tall house and the rest of the structure is all new. So is any of that going to be any more visible from the street? Because right now the tall house, like, you know, the house is right at the corner, right? It's right there, you can see it. So once you move it, it's not going to be visible anymore, right? Is that so? From the road?
It's going to be less visible.
Less visible, but
yeah.
somewhat visible.
Right, it'll be the front portion of the house. If I mean, it's on the, I think it's on the computer in front of you. But if you see up there, it's moving up towards the Princeton meeting and back. And if we were to, I'm not sure we can see from the different shots that I showed of the vegetation. Let me see.
Do you have a site plan? You could.
We don't have a separate site plan. We have the survey, which we've been pointing at, but we don't have a site plan that would show the trees.
I believe that photograph shows that the site isn't that heavily treed.
Right.
That when we push the house back on the site, that you will still see the tall house. Certainly not as prominent as it is now, but it is in front of the new proposed structure by quite a bit. So, I mean, what you see there, that facade with the blank second floor wall and the single window on the left-hand side, that's how much it projects from the bulk of the main house.
Okay, thank you.
And if Anarella could collect tolls, she could pay for this a lot quicker.
Item F, which talks about the product package again, you had a detail in there about the wall scones. And it really talked about the front door, the rear porch, and I believe one which was going to be the garage door in the back. There's also a door that is on the side of the front porch, which is off the toll house, and then the overhead garage doors. Just so wondering, is there another light on that toll house door, or will that be included with the front porch lighting? And what is the treatment of the garage door lighting? Will that be maybe motion sensors or the same type of lighting?
Actually, on the drawings, there is a light shown between the garage doors, or as you say, garage.
Is it the same style?
It's same style, yes.
Okay, so one between, okay, and then
And on the-
nothing else on the porch?
On the
just-
porch, there is a light shown above the French doors. There is, however, not a light shown above, near the rear garage door, the person door, but there should be one, and that would be similar.
Okay, all right. And so that'll just be added to the drawings,
I
correct?
will add
Okay.
that to the drawings, yeah. I mean, you asked about the deck on the back.
I think that you included that it was supposed to be
Okay, well,
provided
yeah,
provided
that's
on there.
similar to the front deck
Mhm,
without
yes.
a roof and all gander.
That was H, Elizabeth, correct? Or was H,
Right.
15H?
H,
Yeah.
yes.
And the garage doors, we're happy to show you, I mean, what we're proposing what we've drawn, but we can show you further product information.
Okay, I believe you called those garage doors, and the front doors are going to be custom, correct?
They are.
Okay.
And, the front door is kind of a typical side light and transom of a, mid-19th century house, so.
And the side door off the toll house, that's going to be new, correct? That opening?
That will be a new door, and that will be a wooden door. And I'm showing it as a 9-light, 2-panel door.
Okay.
I mean, if there may be a way to repurpose some of the doors from the later additions, and we're happy to run that past you.
Is that a new door? Is that a new opening as well?
That would be a new opening as well.
And then J, this is about the building foundation. The front and part of the side shows that as brick, but the other seems to just call it as maybe a parged masonry type of finish. I mean, that should be labeled, and if there's a color treatment on that, that should also be identified.
It will be a stucco treatment, and we can pick a stucco that's sympathetic.
Okay. And maybe at this point, we can talk about another comment that was in the beginning part of the report, which states that because of the elevation change, which is about 4 feet plus, that the toll house really seems to be projecting up, and it doesn't feel grounded. And there's a lot of brick foundation shown. The other side's obviously going to be stucco, but the more prominent one is going to be brick. And I guess I'm just wondering what the commission members think about that, because right now, what's the foundation construction for the
It's
existing?
fieldstone. It
It's
is
fieldstone. Okay. I'm just wondering. Obviously, you're going to check to see if that elevation could be lowered, if possible, and maybe the commission would want to think about maybe not having it brick, because it is 4 feet of brick.
It is broken up by floodgates,
I see.
and there'll probably be, dare I say, some foundation landscaping.
No.
The conundrum for me as an architect is, you want to present it as looking more as if it's a historically accurate product. The reality is, to build a really beautiful fieldstone foundation is cost prohibitive to do it correctly. And so what would they have done? Well, the brick piers on the porch is, I think, kind of period. The brick foundation, not as much, but there's convincing thin brick that really looks like a brick wall. The thin stone that is out there does not look like a fieldstone foundation. And it's really up to you folks to tell us whether you would rather not have brick at all or, because that could just be stucco. I'm not sure if that's an improvement.
I'm missing some of this, but the skirting, I think that really helps. Although I presume it's not just horizontal lath there. There's vertical behind that, or
Yeah, I
it's
don't
just
know
the way
why.
it shows up in the drawing.
I think it just showed up in the drawing that way. It was meant to be
Yeah.
square,
I think that breaks
square
it up, though,
trellis.
and I think I'm not in favor of a lot of surface planting around a building, but there'll be enough to soften that expanse. And the reason for it is to keep the house high and dry, right?
So, Elric, are you saying that you support the brick material versus a fieldstone foundation?
Yes. I mean, if we had the native stone from Stony Brook, that would be completely different if you could do it. Are you going to keep the old foundation in place at the front of the property?
We could if you wanted it.
I think that would be,
Yeah.
I think that'd be helpful.
I mean, construction, we'd have to have at least 8 inches of actual stone plus the foundation. It just becomes expensive and labor intensive. And that would be,
But if you can parge the top of it, that'll help to
yeah,
protect it.
no, but to keep the existing foundation would be kind of fun as a remembrance of where it was.
You okay with that? Of the toll house?
And Elric, would you still prefer brick over?
The problem is that people don't know how to do stone anymore, and it doesn't look traditional as it's one thing to have the material if it's well executed and the mortar is correct I mean, I've watched people paste on stone from the top down. Brick is more honest in my view at this point.
That's why we're proposing it, because we don't want it to look like the stone in a pizzeria.
So just for, when we get around to the motion, the brick under the toll house is a screen, what's the terminology? I guess that's what I'm looking for. Is it actual brick or is it a?
It's a thin brick.
Thin brick.
It's a half-inch. It's actually a clay product, but it's a thin brick. And it's very convincing. You
Okay.
mortar it, the joints, and you can control the joint thickness. And there's a variety of bricks available that look handmade. And I think the net effect is really rather pleasing versus a mosaic of thin stonework, and actual stone pieces are quite small that are cut thin, which doesn't look like a fieldstone wall at all. So.
And that's preferable to a parged surface? Okay, I'm just looking at the commission members.
Yeah.
See.
I think it helps reduce the height further,
Can
with
I
the
just
horizontal
ask-
lines.
Can I just ask you something? So if I'm looking at this drawing, so right now, the brick foundation's under the toll house, then you have the piers, also brick. And I
Right.
can see the two louvers under the toll house. And then under the porch is what?
Well, under the porch, the surface of the wall beyond the porch, the foundation wall of the house will be stucco, but you won't see that because you'll have the trellis work of the porch and the brick piers. That won't be at all visible.
So I'm looking at the horizontal lines there.
That's the trellis.
Oh,
And-
that's
and
the-
they're
okay.
not showing up for some reason
Oh,
in
okay.
in
It
the
just looks-
PDF. It
okay,
is.
so it's the
It is a wood trellis. It's not.
That's
yeah.
the cedar, okay.
yeah,
And then
it's-
behind that, you also have louvers, right?
But you
to the
wouldn't see
found-
any
Which
of
you
that.
wouldn't see.
Yeah, you don't.
But
you won't
that's for
see
the
any of
flooding.
that. I mean, it's really a
Okay.
traditional porch foundation that you won't.
Get groundhogs and whatever in there.
Right.
Nicely protected.
Okay.
With any luck.
And you, at one point, when we last saw this, you had a second-story porch which has been removed. Am I correct on that? I think it's an improvement if I'm correct.
You know, I did draw it at one point.
It seemed,
and
it seemed,
it didn't look that great, tell you the truth. I don't know.
I wouldn't have it in my mind otherwise.
Well, part of it is then we have to put a door out to it.
It's
To
these
make it
CAD
usable.
machines that do this overnight when you're not looking.
Yeah, we had it on the 22nd,
Taylor of Gloucester.
2022.
By the way, in response to I do have the PowerPoint from the prior presentation, if we want to provide that as an exhibit to you. This was from 2022.
Was that what you presented today?
Yes.
Okay,
No, it wasn't what I presented today, it's what I presented to
Twen-
the board on the 22nd.
okay.
I've included most of it today, but it shows the architecturals that we showed then, and there can be contrast.
Yes. K, there's an existing stone wall that's shown on your survey plan. Just wondering if that is proposed to remain and if you know if there's any historic significance to it.
That's a very low stone wall, isn't it? Just kind of a rubble stone wall. I mean, hopefully it can remain. I don't think we have any plans to remove it, but
Is that at the entrance?
Yes.
that's
at-
on
At the
the
curb cut.
uphill side of the driveway.
I think it's on both sides.
Okay.
It's shown on the survey plan. But, I mean, do you know, does it have any historic significance? No.
I think it's a landscape feature from when the house really became enlarged.
Max, can I ask you, how does the toll house meet the new house?
Charlotte, can you talk into the, so we can,
Sorry.
we can
I was
record.
just wondering if, how the toll house meets the new house, how those.
How is it actually connected?
Yeah, is it, I mean, I guess what I'm wondering is when you replace the siding with hardy plank, replace the windows, and is there, is the identity of the toll house perceptible anymore? I mean, or does it, does that make, do you
You
understand
mean,
what I mean?
is it able to distinguish between the toll house and the rest of the
Yeah,
house? Right.
yeah.
And I think that was one of the questions in the comments, that, the historic structure should look different than the new addition, whether it be material, color, roofing. I think that will also help it stand out as the historic feature, even though it is not as close to the street. That
This can work for and against it. The scale is definitely different, so I think you'll perceive
Right.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think in your report, and I'm sorry, I didn't realize that this was emailed over the weekend, so I haven't really had a chance to read it, but I think you were recommending perhaps a slightly different color on.
different color, different material, maybe, I think that you are proposing shutters on all the street facing, both on Mercer and on Quaker. So again, if there's some differential between the toll house and the new addition, that's always what the Secretary of Interior's looks
Right.
at. I mean, we don't want it to look like it's all one building.
Right, that's, yeah. So I guess I'm wondering if, maybe there shouldn't be shutters on the toll house to
Yeah, I mean, we could remove the shutters on the toll house. We could
and-
do a different roofing material. I mean, it's not unheard of for a building of that era to have a standing seam metal roof.
to have I'm sorry,
Quick question. The barge boards on that gable, and I can't see, I didn't think to look at, to be honest with you, but are they tapered as they would have been, or have they been replaced at some point? I know CAD doesn't do tapered, but I'd like that. And the other thing is, on the corner boards, a lot of these houses, mine included, there's only one corner board. They don't turn the corner. The siding goes directly into the corner board, and it's a nice early feature. If you don't have it, then there's no need to put it in, but it'd be good to make sure if you do, that you follow that, so that section of the house actually reads maybe slightly differently
Slightly
from the
different.
rest.
I'd be happy to go back and,
No,
And I guess
I
that,
mean, but I don't know how old the siding is on the building now. I know that the meeting probably replaced various things on a fairly rigorous schedule.
could I propose that you and I go and look at the house
right.
and look at the siding and the rake boards and the corner boards
Let's
and the
take a look.
windows? And that will work with you on that? Yeah, it's, to my eye, that, well, there you go. You just said that the siding goes into the corner board without the corner board
It's
returning.
just hitting one surface.
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
So we
That
can
I asked.
keep that detail on the toll house, but not replicated on the new structure.
Yeah, I wonder without, I kind of have, without doing, you know, a dramatic hyphen as between the old house, the toll house, and the new house, if there's something besides paint color that, you know, could signify that break.
I hear what you're saying, and I know that's something that the Secretary of Interior
Right.
Standards likes to promote.
I'm coming to not like that word hyphen.
Well, my personal feeling is that it can work in several instances, like the present-day club did a bathroom addition, essentially, in a rear entry. And they had the room to do it, and I think it looks appropriate there. It's a public building. I think it works. I think here it becomes more attention getting than it needs to be. You know, I think the scale of the toll house will be different. We'll work with trying to maintain as many existing finishes as possible so that you really read the toll house as something different. But I really don't want to put a hyphen in, that the hyphen becomes the architectural quirk that gets more
Yeah,
attention.
no, I'm talking about a hyphen like 12.
But then, to my eye, that's like, what is that? Is that expressing a difference in, you know, buildings, or is there some architectural reason? And, you know, what is your eye drawn to? I'd rather my eye be drawn to the toll house
Right.
than the gap.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it would really make an enormous difference if there weren't shutters on the toll house.
What would you feel if there weren't shutters on the main house, but there were shutters on the toll house? Because,
But there weren't originally shutters on the toll house.
well, there are hinges shown, lift-offs on the windows.
Okay,
I mean, and the house is from 1860, so it likely had shutters.
had shutters.
Don't you think, Elric?
But the 19th century, particularly from around the Civil War period on, was very, very conscious of ventilation. And this time of year, if you went by most of the buildings, most of the old houses around Princeton, all those blinds would have been shut to keep the rooms cooler during the day. So there was good purpose for it. Earlier buildings, the 18th century, would just be solid shutters on the first floor and nothing on the second floor. And it's very rare to find shutters if you've got a tiny attic 4-light sash, for instance. But contemporary, they want to throw them on. If they can add 2, they put 2 on.
But there are the hinges shown, the pintles.
Yeah, that hardware that's good 19th century hardware.
So how would you feel if we put shutters on the toll house and not on the main house?
I think that would actually make the toll house, you know, be more visually prominent because it does have that.
It has mascara on with the shutters.
And then almost make the new house more recessed because of that detailing on it. But I understand when you're talking about the hyphen, but then I do understand, like, the way it's positioned right now, how do we make it look appropriate, a good transition. It's, if maybe the toll house was on a different part of the house, I'm not sure. That's, I don't know, that's hard. But I even think that but I'm even thinking the material of the new house be different.
So you could have a similar color, but a different material. Because switching the color is challenging. Let me ask you a question architecturally. Two things. One, you've indented the toll house by about 4 feet, so that seems like a significant way to call it out, and that it doesn't match the edge of the property on the right side.
Right.
Christopher, could you talk into your microphone? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
We just can't record it.
So I was just saying that the fact that it's indented by 4 feet on the right side would seem to also call it out as a somewhat separate structure.
And I don't know.
I mean, we could also make the siding on the new structure taller. And I think if we did that and eliminate the shutters on the new structure and really,
She doesn't want to limit the shutters on the new structure.
do you like the shutters on
She
the
likes
new
the
structure?
The person who's living there wants the shutters on the new
Oh,
structure.
you like the shutters? All right.
You want
Or-
the shutters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But could we, and I don't know if this would look, is there a more historical type of shutter that could be put on the toll house without making it look very odd? Is that a way to differentiate?
Or do we, well, along those lines, the toll house probably have the louvered shutters, first and second floor.
I'm getting some of that, not hearing everything.
Well, could you say that again, Max?
The toll house would have had louvered shutters, first and second floor. So do we do paneled shutters on the main house?
I guess my notion is that it feels like the kinds of houses that were built in the style, say, in the 1940s, and they would have had shutters, as opposed to, I mean, $1,500 a pair. That's a consideration, but I think I like the idea of having something which is a little different on the original section, and if it's the corner boards and the rake boards or the shutters, that's.
Why don't we revisit the shutters and the siding and the corner board details and the rake boards?
You might do a sketch or get your CAD to do a sketch.
The CAD is
Without-
only as good as the
You
operator.
can tell I have it in for CAD, but.
Well, and a color, we can imagine the color difference, but the color rendering would be helpful too.
Elizabeth, have you finished your list?
No,
or-
sorry,
Okay.
almost done. I think that L, we talked about the foundation height and the elevation, so obviously it's going to be lower to what is going to still function to keep the building dry. And it talks about, there's some stormwater management that's going to be needed. Is a rain garden proposed? We didn't see anything on the site
I
plan.
believe we're not actually increasing the amount of coverage to the point that we have to
Oh.
install a rain garden.
Okay.
Because
We're actually
with,
reducing the amount of
yeah,
coverage.
Okay, so maybe as part of the approval, that if you do need to put one in, that you would come back to HP, to a
we're happy to.
subcommittee. Okay, and then what sustainable measures were incorporated into this development?
well, we're saving part of the building.
That's very sustainable.
That's true sustainability. We are not increasing the coverage, we're decreasing it. We are taking a building that's been flooded and we're lifting it hopefully far enough and out of the ground and far enough away from the flood zone, so we won't be rebuilding it every 5 years. So I think that's largely how we're going to be sustainable. If there are any finishes that we can salvage from the interior of the house or doors, anything that could be worth salvaging, we'll try to do that.
Okay. And then, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to go through the beginning part of the comments, which were not specifically comments that we are asking the applicant, but it's really for the commission, if I'd like to go through those. First of all, I think the HBC does appreciate very much that you are reusing and preserving the toll house, which is the most important part of the existing building that exists there. The toll house obviously used to be closest to street to function as the toll house. It would have been appropriate to still have it close. However, I understand this is the way that it best functions for the applicant and for you to be able to preserve it without keeping it at the same location.
Elizabeth, may I ask a question at this point? I haven't been able to figure this out, the path that the toll house portion that's being kept, is that a straight line, or does it pivot some, or?
I'm sorry, tell me what you mean by the path.
Is the orientation.
Is the orientation very similar changed?
It's really just like sliding it over
That's what I was
and
trying to
down.
figure. Yep.
So it's not changing the angle.
Okay. That's what I thought, I just didn't want to assume.
When I moved my own house, I kept the orientation as close as I could because I really wanted, part of it is how the house is used to reacting to the sun, and part of it is how the sun comes into the house. So I was able to keep it almost the same when I moved my house about a quarter of a mile. So this will hopefully be very similar.
I think we already talked about it, as Charlotte had brought up, exterior differential between the toll house and the new construction. I think that that's going to be worked out, discussed between you and Elric, and I think that we will recommend that a subcommittee to be appointed to be able to review those details and what determination might be made from them. A demolition plan should be provided. That's part of the ordinance. Just labeling that we talked about. We talked about the product sheets, that we need a detail for the front porch column. That should be included. Just wondering, what is the height of the ceiling on each floor? Not the toll house, obviously. That's different.
You ask hard questions, Elizabeth. You would think the architect would have them on the drawings. I believe the floor heights are 8 feet. Although I'd have to get back to you on that. I know the second floor is 8 feet. I'm not certain if the first floor is 8 or 9 feet.
Okay. I just think, we always look at the height of the building in reference to the property and the street. The tree replacement plan was provided and should be reviewed by the municipal arborist. And again, if there is a landscape plan that will come for any type of stormwater management, that should be something that's going to be reviewed by the subcommittee. The type of lighting, whether it be LED or otherwise, was not indicated, and if it is LED, we recommend it not be greater than 2700 Kelvin. And I think we addressed everything else.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to ask any commission members if they have questions or comments about the project. Elric.
I wanted to, first of all, we wouldn't be having this conversation with most of the people who apply here. The topics of conversation, it's refreshing to me that we can be talking about details that most of our applicants just don't get. So thank you for that. But one thing I wanted to add is just a little bit of background on the property from my days of collecting oral history years ago. I had the opportunity, I had the notion, I think it was 52 years ago, of after I started interviewing a number of people in town, to get some of the people who'd gone to the one-room schools together. And contrary to a lot of the understanding today, those one-room schools were fully integrated, which was kind of cool in that there were people like the Stony Brook School that the kids in that area attended, that was pretty much almost half and half, and it included at least all the Egglesfields, Mr. Pine's butler, the English butler. Egglesfield had 11 children. They lived in that tiny olden house in front of Drumthwacket before Mrs. Pine built them a house and turned that into a zoo. But of interest for this is that there were at least 3 families who worked on the farms, both the Updikes and the Hales, who had what's now the Battlefield Farm, the Clark House. And I'm not quite sure, I think it was Della Sweeney Williams who lived in that house, but it could easily have been Rosella Freeman Holmes or Flora Nixon Brown. And I'm hoping, Shirley, that you knew some of these people. They all came from big families. There were 9 kids, I remember, that lived in that house. That was before probably several of the
Can you
additions
repeat the
were-
names, because I really can't hear? It's either the acoustics or my
okay.
ears.
Rosella Freeman Holmes, the Freeman family, Della Sweeney Williams, the Sweeney family, and Flora Nixon Brown, the Nixon family.
I know the first 2
I know
names.
that
yeah.
Mrs. Brown worked, I'm pretty sure she didn't live in that house. She wound up working in one of the houses in Mercer Hill for $8 a week. Della Sweeney Williams went on to be head of housekeeping for Nassau Inn in her day. And I'm not quite sure of Rosella Freeman Holmes. Those one-room school reunions, Mr. Ed Snook, who lived in your house, David, was there. Elmer Lee, who shared numerous memories over a long period of time. His father was the blacksmith and built the road going back to Edgerstone. He grew up in that house. And that one-room school reunion, he recalled when the kids in the one-room school, which is where the two-room school is now that I went to, they would get down to Stony Brook at recess. And during the winter, and this would be about 1904 or 5, Mr. Lee and a friend of his went down there and they jumped on board. There was like a spring thaw or a winter thaw, and there was big, like 10-inch cakes of ice all washed up on the shore. They jumped on one, and by jumping on it, they dislodged it, and they found themselves floating down Stony Brook, and you know, they certainly didn't want to jump in the water, but they didn't know where they were going, and they saw the bridge coming up over Mercer Road, and were terrified they were going to hit the bridge. And at the last minute, they wound up skirting it and being taken through, and then they were washed up on the sandbank, and they were able to walk back to the point where Miss Snook, the one-room school teacher, sent them home, and with, you know, whatever. But anyway, that toll house, I had never really thought about the formal names for those 2 trolleys or the road. And I think that there may well be 3 toll houses. There's a building at the corner of Riverside Drive and Nassau, and I believe that was a toll house. It has a lot of bracketry on that building. And I had never thought about Kingston being part of that, but I saw the K in it, and I thought, Kingston, that makes sense. But also, among the other people who were at that one-room school reunion was Helen Hunt Van Cleve, who grew up in the Hunt House across where the Eagle Gate posts are on the other side of the bridge there. And she had her real estate office in the little building right behind what the local wags would call the bathtub, the World War I memorial, which has become the War Memorial at the corner there. I think that was a toll house too, and if you look at it, you can see
tall,
that
skinny building?
it was raised a story. Anyway, a little background, and Mr. Lee's story is too good not to tell.
Is this in the recollector? or-
Yes.
Good,
Yeah,
yeah. Cool.
thank you. And again, thank you for the presentation.
Charlotte, do you have some additional questions or comments?
Mr. Shore, I'm just going to pass around the color. that
Oh,
they-
colors, okay.
Great. And will we have a subcommittee that, yes?
To answer Charlotte's question about the subcommittee, I guess it's, if the commission would like that, then I think that you should appoint a subcommittee to be able to review the details that the applicant will come back with to the subcommittee. And I think that that's
that'd be
probably
great.
yeah.
What is this?
Elizabeth, can you discuss that?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks.
Okay, I see red. What is it for?
That's the door, Charlotte. I mean, Shirley, the red door. And then the white is the siding. And I believe that the applicant had stated that the shutters were supposed to be black.
That's the question I was going to ask. The shutters are black and the siding is green.
Is the white color that you have there, the
What-
one that has a check mark
This-
next to it.
It looks red.
And the red is the door.
Oh, that's the door. Okay.
So I guess there's a few questions for the HPC. One is they need to determine if they approve the moving of the toll house. Two, if they approve the demolition of the remaining parts of the house, which is the additions to the toll house in addition to the breezeway and the one-story or one garage, the garage structure. And then the third one is about the addition itself. One, are they happy with the siting, the location of it? Two, the material of the building. How much of it do you want to be shown as a differential? Are you happy with the siding that is on both of them? Would you prefer something different? Would you prefer the color different? Do you want the shutters to remain on the toll house, which I guess was represented that it was existing and it was appropriate for that age house? If you feel that you don't want the new addition to not have shutters, do you want it to have shutters perhaps with a slightly different color? Is the roofing material to be consistent, or would you like that altered as well? I believe that the commission had stated that they were pretty comfortable with the brick foundation and the louvers that are added, which obviously is for opening the floodways when water comes in. The applicant had agreed that they're going to provide all the detail material that's missing, which had to do with the gutters, the color, the lighting, that type of thing. And I believe the HPC seems to be indicating that they would like to appoint a subcommittee to address certain things that might come back, the details of the toll house, breakboard and siding, in addition to if they need to come back with a stormwater management plan or landscape plan. I believe that was pretty much it. Was there anything else that we had talked about?
Question. I think the engineering plans indicate that we're reducing the impervious. So I think unless there's something in the construction process, there wouldn't be a reason to come back for a stormwater plan. I just don't want to put that on the table as a hurdle for the client if that's not necessary.
Yeah, that would be, I mean, obviously, I don't know if it's already been reviewed by Dan Weissman, the land use engineer, or not, but he always looks at it, even if it's not a planning board or zoning board application. So I think just as a precaution, that it would just come back for the subcommittee,
that
but
would be-
hopefully it would not.
If he found that
There was,
stormwater management was required.
yes.
And in terms of the landscaping plan, what would that be something the subcommittee would review?
Is that something that the
Preserve.
applicant is interested in doing?
I mean, I don't think we prefer not to need to come before this board or the subcommittee for a landscaping plan.
I think if the
Moving forward.
subcommittee was comfortable with reviewing a landscape plan after the fact, that could be incorporated. Correct, okay.
And I think we have a proposal on the shutters, so hopefully maybe we can remove that from the ambiguous column.
Yeah, I mean, we're happy to do a panel shutter on the new portion and louvered on the, or that can be part of the subcommittee discussion.
I think that if you could discuss it now, it would be good. I mean, the more that we could get it resolved, the better. You know how it is with subcommittees, it just, get the material, look at it, respond back, get the material reviewed. I think the less amount that the subcommittee has to do, the better.
You're this far away and I don't understand what you're saying. It's this room.
The subcommittee, I said it's better for them to determine the shutters now if they want to.
Maria and Shirley, do you have any?
About two different cards.
No,
Like,
I
that's a
just wanted
terrible
to,
idea.
I can't,
Maybe
I'm sorry, but I
didn't hear it.
I couldn't hear a lot what was going on. But if I were to come past here when it's built, will I be able to say, oh, that's where the toll house was?
Surely they had
Question.
talked about keeping the foundation at its place, parching it so it could be
Yeah.
preserved. I mean, obviously, you're not going to be able to see that unless you go on the property, but it does identify where the historic toll house was. And I think that some of the detailing that the commission is talking about is differentiating the existing toll house to the new addition, so it would stand out, that it wouldn't look like all one construction.
Right, okay. Yeah, because whenever I go on Quaker, we call it Old Quaker Bridge Road, and there's several things I notice. One is how high the corn is growing, so I sing the Elephant's Eye, the song. The other thing is whenever I turn off from Old Quaker Road to Mercer, I always notice that toll house. And just about 2 weeks ago, I said, I hope they preserve this. So I'm just so glad that you are preserving it. And how close is it to the school property? Because I didn't hear that.
It's going to be moved a little closer. It's going to be moved a little closer to the school property. I'm just going to show that if I can find it. It's in its current location, which is a little bit more towards Princeton, and its new location, it's going to be moved, I can't tell how many feet, but maybe 30, 40 feet closer to the school property. In both ways, it's going to be moved further from the road, which is closer to the school property, and also just closer.
So it's before the road that goes into the school property, is that it?
No, it will not be before that road. The road to the school property will stay the same, and then this will be in the same lot that it was in before. So it'll be a very small amount closer to the school property,
Okay.
but a little bit closer.
Thank you for the preservation.
Maria, go ahead.
So this may already exist because this is not the first time you're coming, in front of the commission. I think a 3D rendering would be exceedingly helpful. If it does exist already, that's amazing. I just haven't seen it. And if it doesn't exist, I feel like it would have made everybody's, job much easier, because then you could sort of imagine those shutters and so on and so forth, and deciding, because looking at the drawing, for me personally, it's difficult to see what the house might actually look like.
Thank you.
So if it's something that can happen, that'd be great.
Yep. And I think that's something we want to recommend to future applicants. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Just a few things. One, if you could also include the toll house elevations that were submitted in the concept plan, I think that that's very important for us to keep on record. In addition, could you explain from the concept plan where the toll house was going to remain at its current location and all the other additions around it removed, why you did not continue with that concept idea and instead include it with this addition.
Okay, so I can include as Exhibit D the PowerPoint presentation that we provided when we came before the board in 2022. And that shows different elevations, many of which we've shown in this presentation as well, because we saw your comments, so I included that in this PowerPoint. In terms of the reason we didn't leave it in place, it was really a question of how we could maintain that house. And at this point, it's in a flood zone that, you know, floods above the foundation and 2 feet into the first floor. So it's a significant flood zone. It was going to take, you know, a great deal of work and cost to turn that building, which would be just an isolated little square box, and, you know, kind of a small, unusable building, maybe a workshop, an artist studio, something, to make it preservable from future floods. And we thought that it would be more sustainable and it would be a more viable use of the property to connect it to the new house. So that's really the reason that Annarella chose that course of action. It was really to allow it to sustain, because I suspect if we left it where it was and demolished what was around it, eventually it would deteriorate further, and this allows it to continue. And, you know, she's not in a position to kind of create a monument there for it, so it just doesn't. It's not. Unfortunately, she's just a person with a house trying to move back into her property. So I know, you know, different applicants come in with a lot of financial means to preserve in a different way, but we thought this would be the most cost-effective and also a very sustainable way to keep this as a valid, continually useful, you know, structure.
I would say that we certainly respect the history of specific buildings, but actually in Princeton, one of the dominant traditions is house moving. And so this actually, and the fact that this is happening, particularly in that area, this is not the first and it won't be the last of the buildings that are being saved by being removed to higher ground.
To kind of sum things up, and then we have a member of the audience who want to see a comment from. Although we don't ever talk about the interiors of these buildings, it's just exteriors, I wanted to say how significant I think it is that the way that the building is being used as living room and primary bedroom connotes a respect to the structure, and I think that maybe everyone has already observed that, but I think it's something I want to make sure was noticed. I think that was a really nice part of the plan, and I just wanted to say that. Yes, moving buildings in Princeton, there's a huge history of it, and right up to this day. In fact, I have a building that needs to be moved if anybody wants one. But the idea of reusing our structures and the connection between what we try to do at the Historic Preservation Commission for Princeton's benefit is also consistent with what other commissions and special interest groups in the community have about conservation, making sure that we're trying to do things that are both good for the floodplains but also good for the landfills. And I think that this project really does address that. It's been a long haul trying to figure it out. I live very close to where all this flooding happened. I was very lucky, but, you know, it still, when there's a heavy rainstorm, I get that feeling of, oh my God, what's happening down the hill from me? And then I think the question that has come up almost universally across this board, from Shirley to Elric to all of us, is how do we appreciate the building that's being saved and moved? And I think part of that is that maybe that subtle distinction between some materials, whether it's the paint color being a little bit different shade, maybe the difference between the hardy plank on the toll house and the plank that's going to be on the new house can be noticeably different, but still kind of subtle. The shutter differences, all those things I think would be great kind of things to be considered. I think it tells the story of the property and what we've done and how we've interpreted things the best we can at this date and time for what's happened there. And I think that all the other notes I have are kind of repetitive of all the things that I think Tara has already copied down for us to get into our motion. And I think that the idea of a subcommittee to move forward, and then whatever little niggling questions are still out there, Max knows where he can come to us if we have a subcommittee that can help him with that, and subcommittee can give him some input, vice versa. So, almost ready for a resolution. Member of the public, did you have something you wanted to say? Advisor on saying her name.
Do I have to be sworn in?
Yes, if you could raise your right hand.
Yes.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give this evening is the whole truth to the best of your knowledge?
I so swear.
Thank you.
I'm
If you can-
Erlene Beaumont, and I live on 100 Albert Way here in Princeton. And I think this is a unique opportunity to reflect the history of Princeton. We have several entrances into Princeton, Jugtown being one, but this is another. And this is one of the places that we should have as an outstanding example of the history of Princeton. And you are to be commended for saving the toll house. That is a big endeavor to do, and I'm sure it's much appreciated. But in doing it, you need to preserve the historical value of what it is that you are preserving. And as I look at the house that is up there, there's nothing that says to me that that's the toll house. So what it looks at to me is that the addition to the house is trying to be combined with the house itself. What I would look for is something that would make it different, something that would reflect the history of the toll house itself, to where people that are viewing the house are immediately not going to look at the front door. They're going to look at that addition over to the side that is the toll house, because that's the most important part of the house. And I think the commission is going in this direction, that they want to do things to the toll house to make an example of the entrance into Princeton, and to where it will be different, to where people will recognize that and perhaps will want to hear a little bit of the history, which is just certainly fascinating. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you. I think several of us did bring that up, and David is the one who summarized it, the same as what you're saying. Thank you.
I just have two thoughts on that. There is the school, and I think that it would be great to talk to the school about having maybe the fifth graders or whatever get involved in the history of there's so many aspects of history in at that fulcrum there, but getting into the notion of both the innovation of a toll road, and right nearby the trolley line that ran through. The fact that you could, anyway, public transportation and all the other things involved, but also with the foundation that's being, if it's left behind. And we've done this at the Barn Company because we have a building that was built in the 1730s, an archaeological dig, and kids are totally enthralled by it. We had to get Sacagawea dollars because they found so many coins going back as far as the 1600s. And so we would swap them. We got the coins from William and Mary, and they got the Sacagawea dollars. But I remember one girl was about maybe 8 years old, and she said, I want to be an archaeologist from, anyway.
You don't want to lose the historical value, all those stories. We don't want to lose. And I hope that I'll leave it to the experts how to do this, but I'm sure you'll figure it out, how to make it unique and of historical value to the city of Princeton.
Thank you for your
Thank you
help.
very much. I think there are some good opportunities to incorporate all those good ideas, and between the school, the Historical Society of Princeton just down the street, there's got to be some way to capture this story. Maybe it's just a regular project at the school every year to learn about it. Okay, so here's the hard part. Do you feel that you've got a good sense of what we've all talked about to write the resolution?
Yes.
Okay.
David, this is going to only stay with HPC, so HPC has to vote on.
Has to vote on it. Oh, so we
Yes.
just do that now?
You do it now, and then we'll memorialize a resolution at the August 18th meeting.
Yes.
Good, that's what I kind of thought.
So you need someone to make a motion.
Make the motion, do we remember all the different points, or?
Unless there's more deliberation required.
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
All right. Who wants to take a stab at the motion? Charlotte?
Do we have to summarize the whole?
I would recommend just stating to approve the application, noting all of the conditions discussed during the course of the hearing. I think that will encompass everything.
Well, does she need to state them, or that the
No,
reference is that it will be in the?
Yes, that it was discussed and it will be referenced in the resolution.
So move to approve the resolution as discussed in this meeting with changes as noted.
And with an appointed subcommittee, correct?
And appointing a subcommittee to review going forward.
Can I ask a question? Was there a determination made on the shutters on the house addition?
I don't think
yet.
so.
Okay.
Are we able to do that now? or
I'm sorry,
are we able to do
Elizabeth.
the
Yes, no?
shutters now?
No.
We did that?
I heard no.
All right, okay, we're still in discussion.
All right.
Just, can I, just
Please.
to, so what is being voted on, just to kind of clarify, is the demolition of all portions of the existing structure except the 1860s toll house portion and the movement of that toll house portion to the location of the proposed new home, which will be built above the floodplain area. So I think that's kind of the action subject to the conditions set forth today.
Yeah, I like that. That there will be,
Second?
My computer's decided it's over.
how do we say it? That it's subject to the toll house finishes or exterior finishes having distinction from the main house. Everybody good on that?
Yep.
We need a second?
Second.
Distinction different from the new addition.
Yeah, one thought I had on that was on the siding, and that it might have keep the original exposure on the toll house, change the exposure, and perhaps just the shadow patterns would differentiate them in a fairly subtle way.
I think that could be arranged with the subcommittee. I believe that Max was going to go out and further look at the existing conditions and come back with an option for the addition.
Do you think there needs to be more at this second about the shutters, or you've got that?
I think that it's I think Tara's good. She understands that the.
Yeah, I think I understand, and I think
Yeah.
the more specifics, as you've done with other applications, the nitty-gritty can be handled by the subcommittee. Once someone goes out, looks at it, the applicant has an opportunity to sort of look at everything, and I'm sure there will be budgetary concerns that the applicant has to go over.
Right.
Okay, I believe I heard a second from Shirley. Is that correct? Mhm. Elizabeth, you going to do a roll call, or?
Second was Shirley? Okay. Ms. Satterfield?
Yes.
Chairman Shore?
Yes.
Mr. Endersby?
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Friedman?
Yes.
Ms. Kovinikova? I'm sorry.
I can't vote though, right?
Yes, because you can today.
I can?
Yes, we're short commission members.
Okay, yes.
And did I miss anyone? I think I have everyone, correct? Okay. Okay. Motion passed.
Yeah,
Yes.
Thank you, Ron.
thank you.
Thank you.
And I wonder if we should appoint the subcommittee now.
Yes, and I'll prepare the resolution for the next meeting, and I will send it to you for your review. And can I have your card so I have your email, so I can, once it's finalized, I can send it to you as well before it's adopted?
Yeah, yes, and I have exhibits as well that I've labeled.
Yes,
Which I
that would be
can
great,
give
because
to you.
Elizabeth, unless anyone else is opposed to it, I'll actually attach the exhibits to the resolution,
That's
because I think
perfect.
that'll be just very convenient for everybody.
Yes.
Elric, would you serve on this subcommittee?
Sure.
Thank you.
I'd like to be.
I think Charlotte's interested too, right?
Thank you.
Do we want one more, or is two enough?
What do we normally do, two or three? We normally do three, correct?
Three, usually three,
Yeah.
just in case there's a tie.
Maria, do you
Because
want to
there's a-
serve on your first subcommittee?
You know, I think I'm gonna wait and just
Okay.
kind of find my feet first, so.
That makes sense, that's fine.
We can keep it at two.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Let's just keep it at two then.
So the subcommittee members will be Elric Endersby and Charlotte Friedman. Charlotte Friedman.
You don't want to get your feet wet in the Stony Brook?
This is my first time here, like literally. So I need to know how things work first.
Very wise, probably.
Thank you. Thank you very
Well,
much.
thank you three for coming in. We enjoyed the presentation.
You're welcome. We'll talk outside.
Elizabeth, are we going to work on 86, 88 Lee?
Yeah, Julie said that she's in the hallway, so she's going to come in. Mr. Chairman, can we just take a 5-minute break?
I was going to propose that.
Thank you.
So 5-minute break, everybody.
I'm sorry? We passed it down that way. Welcome. I like you back here. Pardon me? No. My house looks like the Hoarders. We're still trying to move stuff out of the house. She's coming sometime in August. She was here. I know. No, but the mover came, when they first came, they moved about 300 books. But what he did, he had me sit down, and then the movers would come, and they said, this goes with me, this goes with you, this is going to be thrown out. Then he went other places and just sent the movers.
you for quite some time, really.
Exactly.
Just a tribute so much, and I really enjoyed you.
Now, if we could just the island together on a smaller my friend. Look forward to, you plunged right in. Good for you. Just sit around the table. This is worse. At least we could understand. You can see you.
Yeah. Now
All right,
they are.
now there. Thank you. Are we going to have any owners here or anybody for? Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
If the applicant agrees that it's going to be lower than 6 feet, then they can proceed. Because it's already 9
I see.
Right.
And she also mentioned that she has that same style as
She has the same fence for, oh, but not running down the side? So it's just up there. It's kind of weird. Right, that's what I thought was weird. I drove by it tonight, and it looks so nice, like it. Yeah, it's bizarre. It just looks like it's floating out there.
All right, so can we start? Okay. I don't know. I'll start. Thanks, Tara. All right, thanks everyone. We're going to move on to 8688 Lee Avenue, new fence and gate, Witherspoon Jackson Historic District, Block 6906, Lot 27, R9, T25HP 2025. All right. Elizabeth, did you want to start with your report?
Yes, thank you. So the applicants on this project is James Harley and Catherine McLennan. They filed an application for historic preservation plan review to install a new fence and gate on their property. The property is identified as block 6906, lot 27 on the Princeton tax map with the address of 86 and 88 Lee Avenue, which is in the R9T zone. The property is situated on the south side of Lee Avenue across Ray Street between John and Bayard Streets, and Princeton University Merrick Stanwick Housing is immediately to the south. This property falls within the residential neighborhood of the Witherspoon Jackson Historic District, which is on the municipal zoning overlay map. This district is also classified as Type 2, which is subject to preservation plan review for any changes visible from public right-of-way and painting or adding on its surface coloring to an unpainted surface or adding pre-primed and pre-finished material. So I think many of you will remember this application or this property. So 86 Lee was at one time two separate lots with two separate addresses. It was 86 and 88 Lee Avenue. And there were improvements to this property in 2021. These two lots were about identical to each other. 86, which was on the eastern lot, contained a house and an outbuilding, and 88 was vacant. According to Weiss Preservation Planning's property inventory, 86 was classified as contributing to the historic district. Once the applicants received approval in 2021 to demolish a rear addition and add in its place a new two-story addition, they also had minor alterations to the existing house with this application. As a subsequent of this development, the two lots were consolidated and giving a new lot number, which is 27. However, the Princeton tax map still provides two addresses, 86 and 88. So the house on the property is a Queen Anne style. It is 2.5-story, 3-bay house, clad in aluminum siding, which had the 1-story addition in the rear, which was demolished and added with a 2-story. The windows on the original part of the house are 2/2 with paired shutters, and the full-width covered front porch has a hip roof, which is supported by turn posts. The front door is positioned on the left side of the front facade. The porch is elevated approximately 3 feet and accessed by stairs. The addition on the rear, as stated, is a 2-story addition with the end gable hip roof, which has a standing seam metal roof. There's a driveway that runs along the house on the east property line to the masonry building. So the applicant wishes to install this new fence and gate off the northwest corner of the house and extend it to the side property yard. The new fence is proposed to be an open, horizontal, vertical lattice-style construction made out of cedar. The members are going to be 1/1 and create 4-by-4-inch openings. The top and bottom rails will be 1-by-6, and the top rail will measure 5 foot 3 inches high when it's installed. The post will be 6-by-6 and stand 6 foot 3 inches high at installation. There are going to be 2 9-foot wide sections of the fence, and in the center of them will be a 5-foot wide section which will serve as the gate. Any hardware for the new fence will be mounted interior to the backyard, and there'll be a release pull available from access from the street side. So this is fairly a simple application. Typically, when the HPC chair and I see an application like this and they have asked for enclosure in the rear of their yard, we review that administratively. And typically, if the fence is set on the back face of the building, that's found acceptable. And sometimes if it does encroach a bit on the side, we would also find it acceptable. However, this application does propose to install the fence right at the face of the front of the building, which oftentimes we feel is an intrusion to the streetscape. And according to Section 10B384, Section 4, fencing and walls that diminish the open streetscape shall not be permitted. Any fencing that is permitted shall be appropriate for the Historic Preservation District and principal structures on the lot. So if you think about the properties within the Witherspoon-Jackson, if everyone had a fence that was along the face of their building, that would just be a very linear type of streetscape. And because the houses are open, oftentimes the driveways and any open space provide that little bit of visual view into the side yards. So the HBC is asked to consider if they feel that this is appropriate. Again, the fence style is a lattice open. At this time, there is no proposed landscape. I'm not sure that that will retain that way afterwards, so that's something to be considered. In addition, the applicant had indicated that the side wire fence was removed, so the fence would be extended to the property line. They had also indicated to me after reading my report that the fence detail was not adjusted. They had talked with the zoning officer who had reviewed the fencing detail, and that they did intend to have the fencing no greater than 6 feet, so we would conform to the height requirements. They are not going to add a cap onto it either, again, which would add the height requirement, but I feel that they just wanted a simplified design. So if anyone has any questions regarding this application, I'm happy to answer it.
So I have a question. So there's no they don't need a variance or anything?
No. I mean, at this point, they do not, because the drawing that they had indicates that it is over the allowable height. However, they had indicated that their intention is to have it below the required height by the zoning office. They just did not adjust their details. So if the HPC does approve the style of the height, that's something that I would recommend that you just state that the height of the fence be adjusted to meet the zoning height requirements.
Okay. All right. Are there comments on this? I guess the big question is where it's located at the front of the house. Other than that, I don't see any issues. So, does anyone have thoughts on how they've located it at the front of the building?
Okay, David.
Shirley.
I'll go after you.
Okay.
I'll go after you.
Was there a purpose given for why they want the fence? Is it a dog? Is it landscaping? Is it keeping deer out? Is it?
I'm looking at their application here, and it doesn't really say the reason. You know, as I said, the applicant did respond to my report after she received it, and they did say that currently they only have 19 feet of wired fencing remaining on the property that is located along the south side of the property. All prior fencing was removed, and I was looking at the fencing that was on their survey plan. That's why I asked the question in the report. She said the prior fencing was removed as part of the demolition renovation in their house in 2021. They did also indicate that this style fencing is also on their back fence and spans the south end of their lot.
Oh, so there is some precedent for it right on their property, the style? Is that what you're saying?
It says, she says that the property currently has square lattice fencing detail in 3 places. One is on the back fence spanning the south end of their lot, and along the side fence panel spanning 18 feet on the west property line, and under and span the width of our front porch. But I think that's just regular lattice work under the porch. That's not this kind of fencing.
Are there photographs of, you know, wooden fences that have survived, or old photographs? Here's where I'm coming from. To me, as a gardener, that's a very fancy fence. It's a fence I'd love to have. Is it overkill for that neighborhood? Is it overkill for that site? I don't know. And is it going to be left natural so it'll eventually kind of fade to like kind of a gray color? They're not planning to paint it?
I believe it's going to be kept natural. It's cedar,
Mhm.
so I'm assuming, you
Kind of
know.
a light
and
gray color over
I mean, it
time.
could be, if you want to approve the application with the material, you could say that you request that the cedar to be aged naturally. You know, there was no indication that it was painted.
Mhm.
Yeah, I wonder if they had thought about a white picket fence or something that complements the house. And if that fence is there, do they plan to grow flowers or some kind of foliage that might cover the fence?
So when the application was submitted, and near the end of completion, I did ask if there was a landscape plan that they were looking at this point, and she had indicated not at this time. That does not mean that there won't be planting in the future.
Thanks.
Can I add one more thing? Even though my comments previously sounded kind of harsh, fences don't last forever. This is not a big change. It's nothing that's being erased from the historic fabric. I could probably...
I think that I don't know that the style is as different of concern. I think I'm looking more at the location of the fence on the property.
Alric, you have comments?
I don't mind it. I mean, I just think it's, I think the idea that the block might be punctuated with an actual garden space is kind of refreshing. I do have a few, it's very open, by the way. So and I like the idea that there might be shadows that would play with the fence. I do have a little concern with the photographs that were, I don't have the brochure with me, but well, I'm thinking more in terms of, the fence. I'm looking at, and I don't know where this is, this depiction looks like 2 gates that would be, judging by the grid here, they would each be about 3 feet wide. And I'm looking at hinges which are less than a foot long. If they're going to do this, my notion is that those hinges those panels would sag readily, and I would have some qualms about that. And I think that traditional strap hinges would be the way to go, or some sort of a diagonal that would help to keep those in alignment. But But basically, I think the notion that you can actually glimpse a garden through this, it gives a measure of sort of conceptual privacy, but also a certain nod to the neighborhood by having it open. So, again, other people may have stronger points of view, and I'm more than happy to hear them.
Right, any other comments?
Well, I guess I am not quite so generous with the style of the fence. It doesn't, to me, doesn't seem to go with the house. But I think the transparency serves the street well. But they might consider moving it back even 3 feet to allow for a planting bed. And it's hard to tell if there's room for a planting bed in front. Yeah, sure, if it ages to gray, that's better.
So would you prefer it on the other side of that side window?
Maybe, that's what I was thinking, yeah, that it could just jump to that side
That it would start like,
after the shutter.
after
Right.
the shutter of that first window on the side?
Right.
Hmm. Yeah, maybe that makes more sense. Any other questions, comments?
No, my concern is that a lot of people who move into Witherspoon-Jackson community, and it's supposed to be friendly, and then they put up things like this, like they're protecting. I'm just concerned. If you look at the house on the corner across the street, they have a fence, but the fence is low, and it's not that hideous. And I'm thinking about the fences next to my house where the people never told us they were going to put up that brown fence that faces the streetscape, and no one's doing anything about that. I'm just concerned about things that don't go along with our community and why they're building something that's so tall like this and doesn't go with the house.
Thanks, Shirley. Maria, did you have any comment?
I'm just trying to see how tall the fence was.
Yeah, so she shows it higher than she actually wants it to be.
She said that it's not going to be more than 6 feet, so she plans to have it 6 feet high.
6 feet high?
That's what's...
So you're saying it can be the same fence but be not as high?
Yeah, this one shows it at 6'3".
I
so
thought it looks
be-
like
only because-
70 inches, but 70 inches, that's not 6 feet, right?
Yes, she's got a drawing that actually shows the dimensions of it.
Ah, okay. Right, I was just looking at
And
the-
she doesn't want to go over 6 feet because the zone, it'll require a variance. If she
Right.
has it at 6 feet or below, she can have it as of right.
Right. So I don't know, it doesn't strike me, I understand, all the points made. It does not strike me as being out, very much out of place. If it was, indeed, if it were moved back a bit, that would be better. And if they leave it natural, it will become gray. So it's not going to stand out that much. I mean, I kind of don't mind it very much.
All right, thank you. All right, so, yeah, and I'm with David in that it's a fence, it doesn't last as long as a house. And it is, if she's a gardener, I get it. Like, there's deer and there's all kinds of things coming in your garden. There's, foxes, raccoons, they're all opportunistic. So I understand that if she's already got a fence like this and she wants to garden, that it would help a lot blocking it all off. It's not a stockade fence, so
Right.
lots of credit for that. So I guess the question is the position okay, or would we suggest shifting it towards the back a little bit?
I'd suggest shifting it towards the back. You know, it looks like about 3 feet, but hard to tell, and planting in front of it, but
It'd be kind of nice if you had the opportunity to have a garden in front and then your own garden in the back, and they could be varied a bit.
Right, there'd be
I like
room
that.
for some, azaleas or bushes or something like that
Yeah.
in front of it.
Clematis on the fence itself, something like that.
Yeah, anyway. Elizabeth, any comments?
I would say if the commission is looking to have the fence moved back to kind of make it a position, because we don't know, where that window location is. So if you're saying that you'd like it behind the first bay, after the first shutter of the first bay, that way it's, you know where it's going to be. If you say it's 3 feet, you don't know if it's going to hit the shutter, or,
right.
we don't have that architectural information. So that might be a better way to reference where you'd like it moved.
Okay. So with that, is there a motion?
Yep.
Charlotte?
So moved.
Is there a second?
So I just want to clarify the motion. So the motion is approving this fence style and revising the details to meet the height, right?
Right.
Asking the fence be relocated or moved back past the first bay shutter, and have the fence age naturally.
Yes.
Is that correct? And did we want to talk about?
Can we recommend planting in front?
I don't, at this point, she
No.
said that she doesn't propose any planting, but you can always make a recommendation comment.
Okay. Can we recommend it?
Some planting in the front?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Low planting, high planting?
yeah, low planting,
or- Okay.
maybe.
And then Elric did also make a comment about the hinges. Was that also a recommendation that it be sturdy enough to be able to accommodate a 9-foot-long?
No, it's not.
Oh,
that-
sorry,
no,
the
no,
5
no.
foot.
Five
No,
foot.
no, no, no.
I don't think the illustration is.
This
is-
one?
I think that it shows a pair of hinges, a pair of leaves to the gate.
Oh, this one is just a reference. I think it's just to kind of show you the style.
Yes, and so, but in any event, those hinges look dinky to me, to coin a word, and it'd be nice to have something which seemed a little sturdier.
Okay, so appropriate hinge size.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know where she can find some good ones.
So I wonder whether it's like going to be functional really in terms of, not letting deer in or anything. Because I'm looking just like on Google Maps, I don't see where that fence is what it's gonna like abut. Because there's nothing, it doesn't look like there's anything on the neighbor's side that it would kind of connect to, unless this is an old picture. So it seems to me it's just kind of like this portion of the fence, but there's nothing like
I
on
think
the other
there are-
side that would block.
There are posts on the drawing, right?
I don't know. I can't really see that in the.
Where did I see that?
So she mentions that let me see, there's currently only 19 feet of wire fencing remaining on the property that is located on the southwest side of the property. All prior fencing was removed as part of the demolition. So if
I
you look
think
at the survey plan, it looks like there's only 19 feet of, I'm not sure where, but the siding is obviously longer than 19 feet. But
I think there are 6x6 posts on either side of it. Is that what you're asking, that it's not
I
anchored?
think,
Yeah, I'm just I'll drive by that house, I guess. I'll see. I'm like trying. So I can see that. Sorry, I don't treat like, this very well. So I can see that this is the fence, right? And then there's the neighbor's driveway, and I just don't see. Is there anything there that's gonna is there a fence there or not? Like, is this purely decorative?
I actually think it's decorative.
Decorative.
I don't think it's meant to serve as a backyard fence at this point, because I'm looking at the survey plan, and what was stated is there's currently only 19 feet of wired fencing remaining on the properties that's located along the southwest side of the property. So that's like, which is like the rear. All prior fencing was removed as part of the demolition and renovation project. So the survey plan, I think that everything except for 19 feet remains, but everything else was removed. So it seems like it's decorative. It's not meant to contain or keep out any type of animals or contain children. I do think it's meant to be decorative, maybe used as maybe in the future for planting or a backdrop to planting. But it does have the 4x4 openings. So as
Right,
Ulrich
it's
had
just, I think the thing that's missing are the anchoring posts on either end are on the drawing, but not on the photograph.
Yeah, I think the photograph is probably not accurate. I don't know, it might have just been photo simmed in. I'm not
Yeah.
sure, but if you look at the detail, it does show that it's got, it has
just looking
6x6
Yeah.
posts.
Right.
Yeah.
That one, right.
Okay, but I think we still have a motion. And was there a second? Okay, Elric seconds, so motion by Charlotte, seconded by Elric. I guess we'll do a roll call.
Yes. Ms. Satterfield?
I'm ambivalent, but yeah. It's gonna go
What-
anyway.
what'd she
so
say?
Yes.
Shirley?
Yes.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Shore? Mr. Endersby?
Yes.
Ms. Friedman?
Yes.
Chairperson Capizoli?
Yes.
Ms. Evnikova?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm going to get better at it.
I hope she
Motion
puts
passed.
foliage on this so it doesn't show so much.
All right, thank you. And I thank you, Elizabeth, to convey this to the applicant, and hopefully they're okay with it. All right.
I'm sorry, for this one, do you need a resolution for this one as well, or?
Yes.
Okay, so I will have that ready for the next meeting as well.
Perfect.
Okay. So can we release Tara? You're free.
Out into the wild?
Oh, yes, sorry. Yeah. All right. One more thing. I just wanted to announce on our agenda, we had a presentation from the Mercer Hill Historic District Association and Kip Cherry, and they will not be presenting tonight because of various issues. So the only other possible announcement is with the HPC Education Subcommittee, but I think Roger's on that, and Roger's not here. So, Elizabeth, do you have any announcements or reports?
No, the Education Subcommittee and the anniversary was really intended to kind of see if there's something that HPC is interested in doing for the anniversary coming up. And I know that Mercer Hill Historic District had come to us, to Julie and Dave and myself, to talk about what can they do to help out. They were thinking about maybe speaking with Marvin and seeing if there was something collaborative they could do. I think Roger was also thinking perhaps we want to see what the Historical Society is doing too. We don't want to mimic it or maybe piggyback with them on a project. We were also talking about maybe putting some type of a storyboard or something within the municipality, whether here or at Monument Hall. And Kip was going to talk about local and state historic markers. She understands there's something coming from West Windsor that's going to stop at the municipal property line, and thought instead of it just ending, maybe it could be something that could be continued into Princeton. I'm not sure what those historic markers are about, but I think that's something that we should look into, and also any type of historic markers elsewhere within town. I don't know if Charlotte, if Roger has talked to you about any of that or not.
All right, and I didn't want to skip public comment. If anyone wants to comment, this is your big chance. All right. So I think that's it. We will be meeting again in August on the
18th.
On the 18th, August 18th. All right. Is there a motion to adjourn? Yeah, okay. David and Shirley.
Wait.
Thank
Oh,
you.
wait. Oh,
What?
so just so,
The subcommittee on Thursday, is that open to everybody?
no.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.